Hello, you're listening to the Nonsense Chronicles. I am Doug Sashry, and I'm joined as always with
Rob Mendiola.
And today we are talking to the very versatile Michael Kennedy.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Michael.
Thanks for joining us, Michael.
Oh, y'all are welcome. I'm excited to be here, man.
Rainy Sunday.
It is rainy.
Afternoon.
Made me sleepy coming in that long drive.
Yeah, it'll do that to you.
And what were we just listening to?
That was Sucker Punch by Black Kennedy.
Which was?
It was. When did you do that?
Oh, it was a few years back. That's off of a project we did called Reptile Christ. And it was fun. We
Very cool.
usually, like, a lot of people don't understand that, like, a lot of the Black Kennedy stuff is kind of what we consider lo-fi, because we like to record it ourselves, like in a garage or out in a garden, or
Is that where you recorded this?
yeah. We just do it, right into the computer, and
Wow.
so it's kind of lo-fi. Like it literally is like a lot of one take stuff, and
Nice.
then so that's why it's not so super polished as like
It sounds good. Sounds great.
we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun doing it. So I just hope somebody listens to it.
And feels that. Feels that energy.
It's fun.
You know what my number one question coming into this, very unprepared?
What you got?
Okay. Michael is multi-talented. I mean, I've
Absolutely.
seen him play everything. He also followed in the injury. Like Axl Rose got hurt, was in a chair. Then Dave Grohl got hurt, and he was playing in a chair. And Michael got hurt, but when I saw it, I thought I was at Chuck E. Cheese, and I said, "God, is that the gorilla playing for?" No, but Michael was sitting down behind a keyboard, and that's what it reminded me of for a second.
I know you have a sense of humor putting me in a category with those guys, but thank you. I'm nowhere near like those guys. But yes, I did get really hurt for a while, and I did play piano and an acoustic sitting down and stuff. You did see a few of those shows.
I did.
Yeah, I was on crutches. That was 2021-ish, I believe. And
No, it was before that. It was I think it was 19 maybe.
Wow.
maybe.
Yeah.
Way back.
I think in fact I would say that at the Doc's Christmas party of 19, I would bet that you were doing that.
Maybe.
I think, but like
I could have swore I got really bad hurt. Maybe I did. Maybe it was a different one. But I know it's always the freakiest accidents too, man. Like I was at Warehouse Live. We were there for that big Hold On Hollywood show they did when they oh my God, I can't remember those. I don't know. There was like 12, 13 bands on that bill. But anyway, I was coming off the main ramp, off the main stage, and I just took a little leap.
I remember that now.
Just
Now
a
that you say that.
small whoop. It was 6 inches, maybe.
Yeah.
Like I didn't walk the whole ramp. I just kind of jumped off the side, and I felt something in my knee just curl up.
Wow.
It's literally what it felt like, and I was like, that felt weird. Didn't even hurt. Not a stitch. Didn't hurt at all. And the next day, I went to pick my daughter up and collapsed.
Wow.
And I was on for 8 months. For 3 months, I slept in a recliner.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it was wonderful. But I still managed to do shows. But I didn't for 3 months. I took like 3 complete months off, and then when I could actually get up and try to, it was so bad. I tore everything.
Wow.
They said, like, what's the injury? Everything.
Everything.
Like you tore pretty much everything. You're lucky that we don't have to do surgery.
So we're not going to see any jumps off the platform or anything like that anytime soon.
They're getting few and far between, but I still do it. I still shouldn't. But back in like 2010ish, I was still jumping through drum sets.
Oh,
God.
I really did. Like I'd swan dive backwards into a drum set.
that doesn't sound comfortable.
It sucks, but it sure does look cool.
It's
Yeah.
the fun along the way. Eventually, you get to an age somewhere after 50 where it says, "Hey, you remember that cool stuff we used to do? Guess what? We're going to relive that for a little
Oh
bit."
man, and then you try and if you live, then you get to go to your 70s, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
That's the policy. Now, another question I've always had, and I am still confused about this. Okay, where are we sitting here? Is one temporary? Is one full-time? Black Kennedy.
Right.
It was Michael Kennedy in the Vendetta.
Yeah, that's where you met me. We originally met through the Vendetta days.
That's right. Now, are the Vendetta days over if we moved full time into Black Kennedy?
Well, these are questions that I haven't even answered myself because they're so difficult for me because my ebb and flow of how I create and think changes so frequently. Musical ADHD in a sense that to me, Michael Kidding, the Vendetta is more emotional and more. I call it Phil Collins meets grunge. Like, it's more, it honestly is more love songs and kind of thing. Whereas in Black Kennedy is more of an aggressive side of me.
Like two different paintings.
Right. Yeah. Like you might see me in my flower phase and then you might see me in my all black phase. Like, I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it. And I don't sit down and go, I'm going to write a Black Kennedy song.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit down and write a Vendetta song. I'm going to, what I do is just write, and then sometimes they don't fit anywhere with me. I have this whole folky side. I've written hundreds of like these folky little tunes, that don't really fit in any.
What do you think inspires those?
A lot of those are family. Like my grandparents. My grandfather used to ride boxcars with like Arlo Guthrie and those guys. Like like back in the day, or his father,
really?
not Arlo. Is it the old Guthrie? That if I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. That was my grandfather, and then he heard my grandmother's mother preaching on a street in East Texas on a street corner, and he went over there and gave his life to Christ and started touring with them. And he became a preacher, stopped playing in the bars, and so that came there and came the gospel side of where I started music. I started music primarily through gospel music and singing in choirs and just a real original love for music, like just back, the back. Here's a few chords and a bunch of people singing, and I love that. The whole Brush Arbor meetings and things like that. I digressed a little bit. Sorry about that.
No,
it explains the energy of it.
But with my grandfather on that side, that's the folky side. Like it was, they said he could play this song called "Under the Double Eagle" on an acoustic. Like I wish there was a recording of it. I don't have a recording of it of any of my grandfather. But he was an incredible musician, and he kind of gave that gift through his DNA to all of his children. All of his children, my uncles and aunts on that side, every one of them, my mother, could play something really well. Like, and they did a banjo, a guitar, a piano, and they said it was the gifts of the Spirit because he wanted them to play for the church. And so my grandfather is preaching, and then all of a sudden all his kids can play. And they all play something different. He had a band, a good one.
Yeah.
You see how weird that is?
Yeah, that's.
It's not like one of them was gifted with all of them could play piano, which they all kind of could. My mom could tear it up. Mm-hmm. You see, and then my uncle could just jitterbug on the bass since he was a little, and so there it went. And so they would make churches, and I also remember my grandmother telling me. I used to tell him. She used to tell my grandfather, Joe, every time we get a congregation together and we're making money and we're prospering, you go to start a new church and we're broke again. He said, I know, but I go where I'm told to go. And he said, I'm a sower, I'm not a reaper. And he started so many churches and left and got them prospering and moved on.
It's amazing how many people I've talked to in music that a father or a grandfather was a preacher. And
a lot.
And I'm always thinking it's
you got the Josie Scott interviews coming up. Talk to him a little bit about that.
I did hear his, and that's funny. A lot of these people in my head, I've always thought that this is a good snap breakaway. They take some of the tools from it, but then they go a different direction.
I think also there's going to be a black sheep eventually, and I was that one. I really was. They were like, you need to be playing for the Lord. You need to be playing for the Lord. I am. That's my way of thinking. It was like I was the rebel.
But even preaching's like a performing art, right? I mean,
as I got older, I realized that being Christian and like living like they did, which I still don't. I'm way better than I was, but can't we all improve every day? To try to be a better person when you go to bed. And I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Go ahead.
You might have to edit that part.
That happens, man.
It's live.
All I'm saying is, I was very rebellious with it, and I early on I started listening to secretly, of course, Ozzy Osbourne, The Doors, and when they found when my uncles and my cousins found out, they were like, "You're going to hell. You're going straight to hell." That was the family consensus, and I was like, "I don't think so, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
not with this."
It's
Right.
not like you were listening to country. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry.
Speaking of which, can I give a shout out to them?
You sure can.
I actually am in a country band right now.
Really?
I am. I play rhythm guitar
That's
in
right, you do.
Adriana.
That is right.
And she has 3 songs charting right now on the radio station. So if you give a check out to Adriana, and, yeah, if you see them guys out, you can come see me play.
Adriana is the name of the band.
Adriana's the name of the band, and Adriana Live is the moniker, but it's Adriana.
Yeah, I've watched some of your live feeds.
And
through that.
she's very good. A hell of a writer. Hell of a writer. I know you don't care for the country.
That's some. I like
some-
I like the red dirt stuff.
This is red dirt, pretty much. Like
that's
what we're
good.
doing. Like we love like Whiskey Myers and
Yeah,
like,
we call them rock and roll. We call them southern rock.
yeah. That's what everybody's saying is that this is like Southern country or something.
Yeah.
And a little, because of me and Santos, the lead guitarist, our styles are very similar to when we play together, like a country version of Def Leppard. It's the best way I could explain it. We use a lot of those big open, like instead of playing your D down as a triad, we open them up in these half bars and stuff, and he plays the alternate one. And it's a little weird for country, but like people are digging it. So
Well,
y'all
yeah, that does
go
sound
check out
interesting.
Adriana. Check out Rifles and Guitars. It's one of her lead singles right now, and Captivated is another one. And there's Texas Strong out there, and they're all 3 doing very well. One of them's I believe is like 67 on the Texas charts right now, and so. Yeah, that's a whole another big part of my life that I do. That you joked and said at least you weren't listening to country. Back then, no, that's a bad word. Back then, it really was. But
that definition of what country is nowadays.
yeah,
is so,
we're doing a lot of that
so
red
spread,
dirt stuff.
yeah.
We cover Whiskey Myers and Co Wetzel's another really big influence. If y'all check out Co Wetzel, if you don't know who Co Wetzel is,
never
brilliant artist.
I've heard of, but don't know.
Just listen to the Creeps. He's technically country. That ain't country. It's alternative. But that song is brilliant and he has the Taco Bell song. They're they're really good, man. I wouldn't call them country.
Let me ask you, with all these different family members that were playing different instruments, is that what got you to play? Because I don't know, how many instruments do you play?
I don't play anything good.
I know that's a
or
lot.
well. I don't play them well. Is that the proper way? No, I play at just about any instrument. Just about anything you set down in front of me, I could play a part on to record a song.
Was
But
it always
I'm
curiosity, or
Yeah, it was always curiosity. Like, once again, musical ADHD. Ooh, piano. Ooh, trumpet. Ooh, you know what I mean? Like it was.
shiny new?
Yeah. But thank God that I had ability to maybe not give up on them as easy as some people do, and also to kind of retain what I did learn. So I think I'm probably best at rhythm guitar. I'm not a lead guitarist at all, and then piano probably second, and then believe it or not, like ukulele. I love playing.
Well, because you're
playing
mostly
the-
doing vocals with your music too. So
Yeah,
Right.
I do the rhythm and vocals
Right.
to most of the things, and that's and so I learned out of necessity because I wanted to write songs.
right.
That was it. Like, and then I'm like, ooh, I hear a trombone part in there. I wonder if somebody has a trombone I can play with for a day, and I would learn enough to play the part I wanted if it wasn't too complex.
That's amazing.
Saxophone I can't do. Like reed instruments
Right.
are hard for me.
Technique.
It's his technique. Like
Yeah.
I can't pick up a saxophone and rip out some sexy jazz lead. I can't do it. I can't play oboe or a clarinet.
But keys or strings, and
Keys
you're
and
in.
strings, and I'm in, man.
Yeah.
Like and mostly brass. I can play just about any brass enough to do a part on it.
That's amazing, man. That's
It's fun.
like I said.
It's from time to time. It's
talent.
something. It's something I forget I can do. Like because I don't do it. You don't touch them that often. It's weird.
Yeah, that's
fun though. But you asked a question about Michael Kennedy, the Vendetta, and Black Kennedy.
I did.
I didn't finish answering.
5
it.
years ago.
5 years ago. I will finish answering it. We are talking about doing some Vendetta shows again. It may be in the next few months. But it was kicked around the other night, and so we might do it, and might have a couple of surprise members in that one too.
wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the different personnel on one band to the other?
We try to keep it separate, but I like working with the same people.
That's what most people do.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And so and everybody, a lot of the members, even that do the crossings, like, well, we don't want this to be a Black Kennedy cover band. We don't want this to be a Vendetta cover band. You know what I mean? I hear that a lot, and there is some turmoil between that, but nothing that can't be fixed. That's not fixable. I got a bad taste in my mouth about the Vendetta about a year or so ago, and just haven't wanted to do it. But now I get emails all the time, like, when are you going to do a Vendetta show? So we're thinking about doing a couple of shows, and seeing if people want to come out. I'll tell you, most successful T-shirt runs I ever had was a Vendetta. So that usually tells you who's buying your merch. We would sell out in a night, a set of shirts. So we want to come back. We want to do some, but Black Kennedy is like this thing that was missing from my life. And now that it's back, it's like a new toy again. Mm-hmm. And I just want to play with it for a little, as much as I can,
And you might find that back with Vendetta. You might say,
right.
I want to play that again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My spirit shifts quite a bit, from, I think this year especially, I can't stay healthy. I've been, like, I remember January 2nd, I started getting sick. I had one of the worst performances of my life at BFE. Shortly after that, I didn't know how sick I was. And it was some very COVID-like sickness that I had. But it wasn't COVID. I never tested positive for it. But it was already affecting my mind before it affected my body. And I got up, and I couldn't remember the lyrics. I couldn't start the songs right. And it felt so weird because I've done it like clockwork for so long, and we watched it back, and it's hard to watch for me. But when you take all the absentees out of it, the music was fine. The show sounded good, but like it took me 5 or 6 times to start a song, a couple of times and things like that. And it was really weird. Some people just chalked it up that I was really drunk or something. I wasn't drunk at all. I was sick out of my mind with like almost a walking pneumonia. And I swear I haven't had a healthy day in 2023 yet. I mean, not like what I would consider all right. It feels just completely normal.
Feeling 100%.
Because you guys know about the jaw and all that stuff too. Like, I mean,
pound those vitamins, man.
Just have not had a healthy day in 2023.
Well, hopefully that'll turn around for you.
But it looks like it. Like I'm feeling way better. I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel healthier.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at it and see how absent I've been, even on Facebook for the beginning of the year, because like just overall not feeling good. And then a lot of it was the jaw, the broken tooth that was fusing into the sinus cavity. I had no idea that was making me that sick. So now that that's gone, thank God, very difficult procedure to get it done. But now that it's all gone, I'm feeling more human.
That's good.
I'm hoping things will.
It's hard when things that make you sick start affecting your mind, because that has so much power, as to what you're going to do.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait till you do a cast about everything you went through.
Yeah, it's going to be
intense. Like
intense.
Yeah, you were one of my heroes in this. I kept you,
that.
John, and
thank you.
And even Raph. You guys came back from stuff that almost killed y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, John's still fighting.
Yeah.
And I was laying there going, this just might kill me, but I need to stop bitching because these guys have been almost just dying.
Every time you
years.
get sick, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm so weak compared to them.
Right, that's how I felt. But it kept going through my mind. It's like these guys got back up, man. Like I don't know that I could. I mean, honestly, I don't know, because this almost took me out. It really did. I think it's because I was so sick leading into it, And
when you talk about heroes, I know I dog whipped you to do it, but I know you would have done it on your own, and you did. Was during 2020 when we didn't have any damn music, those Michael Kennedy isolation shows.
Oh wow!
I look forward to them with the little playtime clock that you would put up. Is that something you had from a child?
There's a lot of stories to the things I showed in those.
Yeah,
that was one of the earliest toys I ever remember. They would wind it up and play it for me in my crib. Even that's the one. That exact one. So I used to start my shows by winding it up and like letting it play.
What we're talking about is, when COVID came, there was no more live music, period. So you had started to see people doing some shows. They were, by themselves. They were doing a lot of acoustic stuff. And, I know I definitely talked to a few people and said, for God's sakes, please do something. I have to have some music.
Yeah.
And I tuned in religiously. I did.
Yeah, I like to think that I was on the forefront of that because it was right early on when I was like, people still are going to want to see something,
Well,
even if it's not very good.
No, it was
So
fun.
I tried to do like a variety thing. Even when it was just me, I would do show and tell and show cool things from my collections, and I would, show things from my childhood, and I'd play a song that kind of matched, or I don't know. It was a good time. Got the cops came once.
That's right, because you had the neighbor. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was so cool.
And you featured farm animals in the background.
Always my turkeys, and always I was like,
you should still do that.
Y'all scream real loud so you can get the turkeys to gobble. Like,
yeah.
But it was a good time, and it helped me. I mean, like it was as much for me, wasn't it? Because my friends live in that phone, thousands of them.
Humanity.
Right. Thousands of them,
Right.
and I mean, another cool quick story is a friend of mine met and dated a woman 3 years from one of my little podcasts.
Oh my God.
They met in the chat.
Oh,
and,
nice.
and they got together. We're together 3 years. I thought that was really cool.
That is cool.
I was like, well, I'm gonna just stop y'all flirting in here. I mean, like, my turn or get out. No.
that is fantastic. But those were those helped people stay sane.
Man, I hope so. It helped me stay sane. Just getting that little bit of connection with people,
So what's next on the agenda? Now you have Black Kennedy music out, but what's it? Is it just available on SoundCloud or?
Yeah, you know what? I've never been. I hate that about myself. I'm one of the least recorded musicians probably in Houston, and part of it is because I do live so far out in the sticks, and I didn't have the access to everything I ever had to do. I had to pay dear because I didn't have that connection until like in the 2010s. I've been making music since the early 90s or mid 90s, and a lot of people don't know that. But I almost brought y'all an old MLA CD because it was like my first recorded project. Some of it's pretty bad, but like I thought it would be cool. I'd have walked out of the house. I'll get them for y'all though. I'll get them because I want y'all to have some of those.
Cool.
Yeah, because your music is really good, and
Thank you.
I'd love for other people to hear it on other platforms as well.
We're gonna get there. We're like I said, we are Black Kennedy is recording again. We do have a little project. We're not sure if we're gonna release just single songs, an EP. The days of albums are almost and they're almost dead. So like we put albums out for fans now. Like, oh, you want a physical copy? Here you go. We'll probably get a couple of hundred of them made. Right. So they're pretty rare when you have a disc of ours or something like that because.
Oh, it's true. Most bands don't, and I listen to the Avenged Sevenfold podcast, and they're putting out an album in June, but it's because they owe one more album to their record company. Mm-hmm. But they said they left a hint that there's a good chance it's going to come in the form of singles and EPs,
right,
from now on.
And just about everybody's doing that. We encourage fans when they do download or whatever, go make your own, man. Put it on vinyl if you can afford it. We'd love to have you have that, And we got that. That ain't even original. There's another band called I think it's like Izzy Izzard and the Lizard Gizzard, and they put only primarily the songs out, and then you pay to download them or the full record or whatever, and then you have free gratis. Yeah, make tapes if you want, man. Like get them out, and so they're really rare when you see like a Gizzard vinyl because that was fan made.
Wow.
The band never puts out their own merch. It's all fan made, and they encourage it. Make all you want, print it out. Yeah, it's yours. Here's the logo. Wow. Here's our new shit. I like that. I like making money too. But this day and age, you make money off the mind, the zeitgeist. You make money off 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 people liking your stuff instead of 3 people that can afford your CD at a show. You
come to the show, buy the T-shirts, whatever you got. Yeah.
And now we're like, no, go ahead, print your own Michael Kennedy T-shirt if you want. Here's my pictures. Yeah, just send me. Like I had somebody the other day ask me for the logo that they were building something for their house. They wanted the Vendetta pick. That's so cute what they made. Like it's like it says, music speaks when. Anyway, she's awesome. Her name's Lindsay, and she's always making cute stuff and things like that. And we'll send you the logo if you want to make your own shirt. You want to? That's cool. We don't care.
Kind of inspired them.
they inspire us. You know,
Yeah.
like there's nothing new under the sun, just a different way to do it.
Sure.
You know, just people want it, get it to them. That's the way I'll.
Yeah, I've always been pretty free about sharing stuff like that I create and stuff like that. Just feels good.
Yeah, make no mistake. I love to make money.
Yeah,
But at the
I like
same
money too.
time, you know, it's about the art. It's about getting into people's hands.
Right.
Yeah, you and I would say, and I've said this about him, but you and Nick Dees are basically, you both have that Swiss Army knife capability,
Yeah,
talent.
that's a talented son of a gun right there.
He is.
He is very talented.
I think you have to have dark long hair, apparently, to be able to do it.
You have to look like you can be on a L'Oreal commercial.
Yeah, I think so.
And then all of a sudden, you just know how to play everything. No,
I love the creativity. You know, it's always going to be something a little bit different, but you know, I never when I started listening to you, you know, remember I told you that story once before. Everybody told me, God, Michael used to be such a pain, but then everybody says, man, he changed. He's just a fantastic person. You love being around him. And that's kind of like John Janisch. You know, everybody said that about John, but about his past. But apparently, I don't pick people up until they've cleared all that. Then I just come for the good times.
those are the best kind of people, though. After they've either matured, grown, or life will humble you.
Right, it definitely will.
I mean, the longer you go in this, you know, you're going to look back and go, man, what was I doing? Like, you know, like every day, like even just a couple of years ago, I could have done that better. You know, I mean, like it's just growth.
I think creative people are like real hard on themselves, automatically anyways, and their biggest critics, themselves. So.
Oh
yeah, I have a bunch of creative, self-hating people.
Oh yeah, we're the worst on ourselves. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been through some serious self-hate in my life.
Oh yeah.
I'm in a place right now I'm not too self-hate, so that's good.
What about we want to talk about, you have a show upcoming.
Yeah.
I do. It's this Friday at Scout Bar with Smile Empty Soul, and Horizon Theory is going to be out there with them, and it's going to be awesome. I think the pre tickets are like $15, and it's going to be like $25 at the door. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm terrible at this end of it.
This Friday, what date is that?
It's going to be it's March 31st.
March 31st. Okay.
2023 for you people in the future.
Cool. Yeah.
That's right. We're reaching there. We're going to drop that right before that show, and people get a chance to hear that and come out.
Yeah, come out, man. It's going to be fun.
I tell you what, I'll ask you this question because we talked about it on an episode that's going to come out after yours. It's about venues and about its promotion. Not just a promoter, but when I first started coming out to see live music again, I started going to Deep Ellum in Dallas, and man, every show there was a musician from another band that was playing at another venue, like coming up. And they were out there papering. They were putting the posters out. And to me, the attendance was always better because of it. It feels definitely like that now that we're relying on social media, that the algorithm may or may not pick you up that week and you won't even know there's a show existing.
No, that's true. I will say this, if we're talking about venues, and I won't say any certain names because these are people who are my bread and butter.
Yeah, we don't want to bury anybody.
No, but I'll tell you this: it has gotten in the last decade, it's gotten worse and worse. About like, don't you sell tickets to another venue in here? I'm trying to make money.
I think that's a bad idea.
Don't you pass out a flyer in here?
I remember
there
when
are places doing it.
I remember when that started. I heard tale about it. Let me tell you, I think
the cops on you if you're putting stuff in the parking lot.
I think that's a bad policy because those people in there, make them pay. Don't just because they play in a band. Don't let them in free. But that's more people in your venue. They're going to buy a drink. Somebody might end up, a girlfriend or wife will buy merch. I think it's a good idea to promote amongst, because look, I see all the guys that own these venues. I see them at the other venues all the time.
Right.
Yes, me too.
I think you're doing yourself a big favor if you allow it.
Not every venue's like that.
I know.
But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that I'm like, hey, I'm going to sell some tickets tonight. I'm playing out at Scout Bar. Oh, I said one or whatever.
Yeah.
Scout Bar's not really one of them. You can go in there with your tickets and things, so we can stay them. But I've been in places like, don't you dare Don't sell tickets here.
And I know that it existed. And look, I'm telling you, I've seen it to where it flourishes because bands did it.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, social media, like I said,
I love paper. I love getting out. We used to go to the malls. Back in the late 90s, we would go to malls. We really ran this game. I mean, it worked. I would stand there, with some few CDs and some flyers and things, and I'd have one of my friends recognize me. Oh my God, you're Michael Kennedy. Are you from so and so? He's like, yeah, man, come here. Can you sign one of those for me? And other people will come up.
Nice.
And then you're passing out flyers to them. Oh yeah, we're playing over here tonight. Y'all come out. You want some free tickets? It worked so good, but now you can't even do that in the malls. They're like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, we'll call on the police.
I think the music.
Trespassing, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think the music scene should support itself. In other words, you got 4 members in the band. You send 2 out on a Friday to a show, or 2 out to, or you go to a couple shows. But that way, at least one guy, a couple guys have off one night. They don't have to do it. But I think I think the band members doing that are reinvesting back in the scene, and the clubs will see the benefit from doing it. I think it's a big mistake not to let people do it.
Yeah, you still go to Los Angeles, and they have these cork boards, like even outside the whiskey, right there outside there, and everybody's flyers on it because they know people are going to pass that right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, like everybody, like the Commodore, everybody, every club, and come over here. This so and so's playing. You see that a lot of places, like where the music scene really thrives.
Yeah,
is this cross pollination of even genre. You go to the rock clubs and there's rap artists and they're passing out, selling their CDs. I mean, like that's what I like.
Yeah,
I
you're gonna hit somebody that affects.
Right.
But if anything, all it does is it creates more buzz within the community.
Yeah.
And people keep coming out because they know that they're gonna see, hey, what's coming out? Well, we'll find out when we get there because social media is just not getting it done. That's lazy to me. And
I rely on it a lot too. Yeah, it's something that I need to get back out more on the street. But it's harder and harder. They treat like this day and age in the technological in the age that we are in now, they want a digital flyer. Like it's like you're standing outside a club and you hand them one of those little postcard flyers, like, hey, we're playing down here tonight. Oh, okay. It's like you might as well be saying, "Hey, will you throw this away for me?"
Right.
Yeah.
It's just about that bad now.
I can guarantee you that we will talk to most everybody in town at one time or another, and people in different towns. But I'll promote it. I will say it nonstop, and I think it's good. I think especially you have a relationship with a venue that you've played there multiple times before. Mm-hmm. I think that's a smart move.
Yeah, I mean, I for sure do too. Like, just that, like I said, the cross-pollination of everything, like it helps. It helps a lot.
I agree. Anything that'll help the music scene out in any town, I think it's a good thing. It's live entertainment, and it's usually very cheap compared to what you get. And plus, like I said, you always see friends and make friends, and when I first started going out, I thought, people fighting it. No, it was nothing that at all. It is a community. That's what it is.
It really is, and I've been lucky enough to be a part of it a long time, and or what I consider a long time, and somehow I've tried to traverse all these crazy changes and stay as relevant as we can. It's difficult, but it's been very rewarding. And oh man, my thing is when we need a benefit, oh my goodness. These people, the outpouring of this community is just so amazing.
I can testify to that.
I mean,
a lot of great people came out for my benefit.
Has Michael Kennedy not played the benefit before? Because I'm pretty sure you've been on every single one 1,000 times.
I have turned down so few, and only because I could not make it work. If they say it's a benefit, I'm going to try to do it because I have a soft spot for it. When my daughter passed away, the funeral director after the funeral said, "It's done. It's all paid for," and it was expensive. It's like, really? It's like, he said, never in my life has long-haired men with beards came over and wanted to give me $1,000. It happened all day.
God,
I almost had to give you change back.
That's awesome.
I was like, wow. I was blessed. And they had 3 fundraisers for my daughter when she died, I believe. One was at Numbers, one was at BFE, and it was a real bad time for me. I'm real fuzzy on a lot of it, but I do know this. You know, the Spencer Selfs and JDs of the world all came up and handed $1,000 each. You know,
Yeah.
it was
awesome.
I cried about it
That's awesome.
because we didn't know how we were going to do it, and they somehow managed to pull it all together. And it wasn't exactly cheap. She was 11, you know, and we considered her our princess. You know, she was a sweet girl, and
Yeah, as a
we
community, I think that's what's so you know, you feel so good about being a part of that. You know, knowing how good people are in that.
so for all the faults our
Yeah.
community has, it has a lot of heart.
Sure.
A lot of heart.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah. I agree with that for sure.
Well, if you guys can come out and see Black Kennedy anytime you can.
Yep.
Michael Kennedy and the Vendetta should be having some shows soon.
And remind us one more time about Black Kennedy.
Black Kennedy, it's going to be this Friday, March 31st, out at Scout Bar with Smile Empty Soul.
All right. You've listened to the Nonsense Chronicles today. Please like and subscribe.
Chronicles.
Yes. And we will catch you again soon.